A very good morning to you. I'm sure many of you waking up in the northeast this morning are glad to see clear skies, perhaps lighter winds, and the rain gone. What a weekend it's been, folks. I feel as if, although I live in Scotland, I've been right there with you, tracking this thing now for days and almost living through it with you. I certainly hope that you have managed to regain power, or perhaps your power stayed on. I'm not sure, but this morning, certainly when I'm looking at the internet here and looking at the information coming through, I was sitting watching Fox News this morning on TV during breakfast time, and it showed you Trenton train station underwater, and it looks certainly as if it's going to be quite a nasty commute for folks this morning trying to get to their work. It looks as if there's a lot of flooded lines, flooded roadways, down the power lines still. There's some, what is it? I believe it's 3 million people remains without power this morning, folks. It's going to take a long time for that power to be restored, unfortunately. And I'm sure there's still plenty of rivers and creeks that are remaining very high, perhaps even continuing to rise across New Jersey and that. So my heart goes out to you, and I certainly hope that things can return to some sort of normality. I'm looking at the Fox News here at the moment here, and it says the Metro North work crews will continue to inspect and repair the infrastructure throughout the night. Grand Central Terminal will reopen at 5:30 a.m. This morning. It looks also as if the MTA also plans to restore normal service from Monday morning rush hour. But there's a lot of subways. I don't know if the subway in New York is running this morning at all, and that's obviously going to cause a lot of problems. I believe there's 5 million people each day use the New York subway. New Jersey Transit also announced that they will not operate with regular service on Monday, so that's worth noting. Knocking out service on the Port Jervis and Pascagoula Valley lines. Looking through here, I don't believe Amtrak's running either. Of course, that flooded line at Trenton is the major link between the New York City and DC corridor, so that won't be operating either today. I believe at 6 a.m. this morning, Newark Airport opened up again for service, but of course there's some 11,000 people that were grounded over the weekend when you incorporate the 3 New York City airports. So there's going to be a lot of delays, folks. I'm going to try and pull up a bunch of numbers here that are going to be important, like Amtrak, New Jersey Transit, some of the Pennsylvania lines as well, to try and give you some information there that will be easier to find rather than having to sift through websites and whatnot. And some of these websites could well be down because of the sheer volume of people this morning. So it looks as if it's going to be a pretty tough week. I think it looks as if there could be many people without power probably the rest of this week. I think, certainly going by things, the New England area has really been devastated by massive flooding, particularly so across well, I believe the Catskill Mountains in New York. Vermont seems to be badly hit by epic floods, and I'm sure New Hampshire and parts of Massachusetts is no better either. So, like I say, I'm going to try and pull up a bunch of numbers for you to try and make it a bit easier for you, and let's hope that things can get restored sometime in the very near future. I'm sure the work crews are working very hard to try and get that power restored again. Seems to be the legacy of Irene has been the floods more so than wind, and it looks as if it could be a total cost of perhaps $7 or more billion from this. This could actually be one of the most costliest US hurricanes. Obviously it's never going to compete with the likes of Hurricane Irene or anything, but it does certainly look as if it could be right up there with some of the more costliest hurricanes that ever hit the United States. Of course, it hit and impacted 65 million people this morning, or over the weekend, should I say, and that makes it 1 in 5 Americans was impacted by Irene, and I believe there's a Atlantic website there criticising over the hype and the coverage of Irene. And I was saying this to my wife this morning, that if it had been somewhere very remote hitting, it wouldn't have had half the coverage. The problem has been, and I think the reason for the hype has lived up to its billing, so to speak, this system, because of the impact we're seeing this morning with the flooding and the disastrous consequences of Irene up in New England as well. So I do think that the coverage has been warranted. Like I say, 65 million people have been affected by this. Some 3 million people remains without power this morning. So yeah, it has warranted the coverage. It has warranted the hype, I believe. But anyway, stay tuned. I'm going to try and work hard here this morning to try and get some numbers pulled up for you that you can access. And hopefully you can get on your way soon again. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Bye for now.